All right. Okay, we are here. We are just starting out. We're just watching the video of Scott's recent amazing show over at ThinkSpace Projects or ThinkSpace Gallery, the many names they got going for them right now. Sadly, we don't got the audio going for it. I'm still having some issues with that, but please enjoy the visuals in the meantime. So mainly the entire talk is going to be visuals. So what's going to happen is tonight Scott is my first episode of doing this type of kind of tour thing. I've so Scott, yeah, there you go. And his name is his name is like right above his head too, so you can see it if you want to get a follow. That's just follow right there. Yeah, so tonight let's go over shit. So Scott, tell me a little about where you're from.
Where I'm from?
Yeah, like where you're from before you moved to LA.
So I grew up in Boston and lived most of my life there. I went to school in New Hampshire. I traveled the world a little bit. Ended up back in Boston. Lived in Boston for a long time, and then moved out here to Los Angeles about a year and a half ago.
Oh shit! How have you liking it been out here? It's like, well, obviously not during quarantine is the best time to be like.
I was gonna say I've been here a year and a half. The last 4 months don't really count.
Yeah, I would consider that the same.
Yeah, like it's just sort of like just a blank mark on the calendar. No, I up until 4 months ago, I loved living here. Now I can go anywhere, but at least when I walk the dog, the weather's nice, so there's that. But that's about all of Los Angeles I get to see anymore.
Oh yeah. How's your dog doing?
She's good. She's good. I was gonna bring her down, but she'd be kind of a pest, so she's upstairs.
Yeah. Same. Robert, I came home today. Yeah, it was let's just say he stunk up the place. So that was.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, actually, can you do me a favor? Can you like inch to your right, like a tiny bit?
Hmm? Me or the camera?
No, like an inch to a tiny bit. Yeah, remove the camera a tiny bit, a little bit more. You're centered on your thing, but there, perfect. Well, no, you went too far. The other way. There it is. Okay, perfect. You're talking to a camera guy, so it's kind of it's kind of hard.
Mm.
Yeah. So all right, let me largen up this screen real fast before we start going into the tour here. But yeah, it's a really fun fact about Scott. Oh, we got a message. Hello, Scott and Birdman on our chat. So.
Hello, mysterious stranger.
It is hello. So, yeah. So like, as we're talking, if I see any questions pop up on the monitor, I will say them to you in between and stuff. Sadly he does not see any of your messages right now, but I will relay them if it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better unless you want to open up on your laptop Twitch and see the chat forum thing. But I don't know how far away your laptop is from you at the moment. But.
It's a flight of stairs away, so maybe we'll.
No, you don't worry. You can watch this. You can watch this later because last thing I need is for you to get self-conscious about your hair. Because especially with me, it's like.
Well, now that what is there something wrong with my hair? Should I be self-conscious about it? I'm gonna be doing this the whole time.
Dude,
we'll do this. This is fine. This isn't weird at all.
Right? Not at all.
Totally normal.
Oh man.
Twitch games.
Dude.
It's funny. I was actually thinking today. I was picturing in my head. I was like, when we all get out of quarantine, like in my mind, I'm like, this is what my hair is gonna look like, and I'm thinking like Brad Pitt with long hair, or like 90s Britpop guys with like the shaggy sort of like mullety look. And like the reality of it is it's just going to be like an ugly sideways like semi-afro that's not going to look very good.
Apparently the same person saying hello to us is also saying both of my hair looks fine, so that's good.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you again, mysterious stranger. I appreciate it.
I don't know what to do with my hair. I always wear hats. I don't know, man. But okay, all right. Enough of that. But like, yeah, how have you been doing during the quarantine?
I mean, it's.
It is what it is, yeah.
It is what it is. On a certain level, like my daily routine isn't really any different than it was before. But I've been talking to other artists. It's, I'm used to being alone painting all day long, so that part's fine. But I feel like I had this sort of like little contract with myself that was like, okay, you spent all week mostly alone painting, but then on the weekend you get to see friends, you get to see art shows, you get to do stuff.
No, totally.
And without that payoff at the end, it's just sort of. I mean, everyone's going through the same thing. It just sort of, we're reaching the point where it's just kind of draining.
Dude, I get you. Like, I've been going to the art shows and no one's there.
Yeah. That's gotta be weird.
It's very weird. Like, it's very cool and very weird at the same time. Like, when I first started doing that, I was just like, whoa, I'm the only person who's, like, seen this art show. I think, like, Lolo Gill was the first one, like, that I shot, and she was like, I worked 2 years on this show, and shit. And I'm just like, oh, it's just like, like, I didn't even, like, really think about that until I heard it directly, from, like, the horse, from her mouth and stuff. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, that was just, so I couldn't imagine, like, your works that were so freaking amazing that the level of detail could only be, like, couldn't be been appreciated in person, which really, like, I don't know, how does that feel as an artist? Like, right now, like you fucking sold out, which was great. Like, but, like, how'd you feel? Like, oh, we got another person. We got Allison Bamcat just said, hey, guys. So,
hey, Allison.
Hey, how you doing, Allison? Yeah, and so, like, yeah, how did you feel, like, when you were, like, or when you kind of realized, oh, God, we're not opening up for, like, it's not going to open up in time?
Well, so I let me start by just saying that there's far worse things happening in the world, and I don't want this to be like, oh, woe is me, I'm a sad artist.
Obviously.
People didn't get to see my artwork.
Oh, yeah.
There's much more horrible things happening, but, it very quickly pivoted from, like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and I was, like, okay with it. I was like, all right, the show's still going to go on. It's not going to get canceled. We're still going to have it. I still get to do all this online stuff. It's awesome. Birdman's going to shoot these cool videos. It's cool. You sort of shift right into this, like, sort of mode where you're like, okay, we're moving in a different direction.
Yeah.
And it was really not until, like, I got to go see the show in person, which was cool, but it was really just sort of like you, me, Andrew, the gallery owner, the other two artists, and that was it. And then I drove back home, and I was like, huh, okay, well, it was cool that we got to do that, but it was anticlimactic, it was underwhelming, and as an artist, that's sort of like the euphoria you get after the opening, at least you hopefully get after the opening, is really important to keep you moving on to the next thing. And so it just sort of, it really did feel like it came and went, which is weird, especially because it was my first sold-out show, which should be this, like, really, really great achievement, and it just sort of was like it just felt like a little blip on the radar that kind of, like, up and vanished. It's a very strange feeling. Like, it's not horrible, again, not the worst thing in the world.
No, I get what you mean, yeah,
but it's like everything else right now. It just feels like there's this emotional void where something important should be, and instead it's just sort of like, well, what's on Netflix,
Yeah, no, totally. And, like, recently, I've kind of felt like, I don't know, like, even when I first started documenting art, I kind of was always like, all right, I'm going to make sure I make art just look cool for people. Just, I don't know, I once I realized I was getting access to places people weren't, I was like, I'm gonna really hone in on this. And then, excuse me, and then, like, when this opportunity came, or when everything happened, I lost a shit ton of jobs, because all my jobs are working events and just covering art shows.
Sure.
That's how everyone knows me. And once people were starting to hit me up, like, asking me to do, like, the 360 tours, I was like, I need to learn this. And a lot of people were telling me, they're like, hey, we prefer to pay you instead of these people who are coming to hit us up. They're like, you might want to learn this. So I was like, shit. So learned how to do fucking 360 thing, and then, you got lucky on, you got up right up to my second 360 camera, because things were going so well that I was able to upgrade my gear, and man, like, I was so happy I got to use my, like, awesome one on, like, you know what I mean. Of course, I was happy to use all my cameras on all the shows, but I was just really excited. You're my friend, and it was just nice to, I don't know, it just means a lot more shooting a friend's show. Like, I always get a little bit happier. I'm like, oh, I really want to make sure your show looks good, because, like, I just want to, like, I don't know if it's, like, more pressure. I get more nervous when I'm shooting for my friends' shows. I'm just like, oh, fuck, did I get enough slider shots? Did I get enough, like, walkthrough shots? Like, oh, did I get enough exposures? Like, and so I figured, oh, okay, let's see. Someone just said on this thing, all right, your show depicts loneliness in a once busy place area. I think that's the irony of how no one saw your show physically. It's the cherry on top of the meaning of your work.
Yeah, no, it really, It really is. It was super weird to be in the gallery alone with my work, because my work does deal with sort of loneliness and a lot, and it was just super. It was almost too much to be in that gallery like alone with all my paintings. Like it sort of hit me over the head.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. It was I've had a lot of people. This is really awesome, but I've had a lot of people who told me that my work feels even more timely now than it normally does, which is awesome, but also horrible. Because I didn't want my work to feel like real life, and so the fact that it is obviously not great. So yeah, it's a lot of weird mixed emotions about this show.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we're like starting to talk about like the works and stuff, let's actually like look at it. So here's a virtual tour that I have made, and kind of part of today. The same person just asked, predict the lotto numbers now. So you're pulling a Simpsons.
I'm keeping that for myself.
Yeah.
If you see me next week, like collecting the jackpot on the local news, though, you'll know that I was right.
I'll see you in an actual spacesuit after that, But yeah, okay. So now, like the whole part of this whole entire thing, what I wanted to do is, since I've been making all these tours, and like I said, since I kind of feel like I'm the only one seeing them, I want to do. You're my first episode of wanting to do this, of like a walkthrough with you, and just to check it out. And so, not that not everyone could be there. That, and sometimes people don't know that I do this. So so here's like the nice full screen, and then what's really funny is we hit a little Easter egg of me actually like right behind here. So there I am with my Darth Vader COVID mask. Yeah, and so that's the fun part about this 360 thing. If you drag your finger around, you'll actually be able to do all that I'm doing. So here we go. Let's go on the inside here. Let's just click on the inside. All right. So just let it load up. All right. So let's go to the. Let's see. First of all, what's your favorite piece?
Oh, I never choose a favorite. People ask me that all the time. I find it's actually like bad for business to choose a favorite.
Okay.
People are like, oh wait, the one I bought is not your favorite then? Like, so I don't know. There's a lot of works in the show that are particularly meaningful for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably all of them, but I don't have one that's a favorite.
Okay, no, I totally get what you mean on that, and like, I didn't even think about that. Like, if someone like trying to buy it, and they're like, oh wait, that one's not your favorite. Yeah, and so so if you've never used this, I'll be sharing the link and everything over here pretty soon. But yeah, like if you click on the floors on these virtual tours, it's basically like Google Street Maps, but for a gallery. And all these pieces, are moving around here. My giant watermark on the floor there. And all these have like the info for the pieces right next to them. So actually, yeah, let's, my favorite, you already know my favorite over here. Oh, okay. Thank you, Allison. Try it. Yeah, we'll be streaming for like at least another 45 minutes, give or take. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one, the Vasquez Rocks piece that you did. Oh my gosh, man! This like, bummer. We kept talking on like going there all the time, and then like finally it was just like, oh man! Like I love the composition. This is honestly like my favorite part of the rock too. So because there's lots of rocks in that area, but like, yeah, like what made you choose Vasquez like over on one of them?
Well, so
Thanks,
the show is called This Is America, by the way, for people who haven't picked up on that.
Yes.
And I was trying to do a lot of things with the show, but I was in part thinking of it really as a landscape show. I've certainly painted landscapes before, but I kind of really wanted to do like a deep dive into landscape painting for this show. And so I was thinking a lot about sort of the landscapes that are sort of quintessentially American. Grand Canyon, Rocky Mountains, sort of sweeping plains, et cetera. And I wanted to do some that were, I've been to some of these places, I haven't been to other of these places. I wanted to do places that had some of them that had a little bit of a personal attachment to me. And I've been to Vasquez Rocks. In fact, when I first moved to LA, Birdman, you know this, one of the first things I did, I was here about 2 weeks, and I went up to Lancaster to do a mural up there. And spent a week, which is, people don't know, it's like an hour and a half north of LA. And you go right by this place, Vasquez Rocks, which is kind of famous originally for being in Star Trek. because it really looks like this otherworldly place, and you can actually see it from the highway as you go by. And so I loved both how sort of natural it looks, but also how otherworldly it looks. I thought it'd be perfect for my astronaut to go there. And that was actually, it was one of the last paintings I did, and so I kind of really wanted to put a bow on the whole like landscape I did. I wanted to do one last sort of like big epic landscape, and I was really thinking about artists like Turner, the old British painter Turner, JMW Turner, who did these like huge like fiery cloud formations all the time, and to a lesser extent some of the American artists who did stuff like that too. And I kind of wanted to measure myself against some of these classical landscape painters, just to see where I kind of measured up against them. And so it's a tall vertical painting, and the astronaut only takes up like 2 inches at the bottom, and the rest of it is all this sort of like giant cloud and then the Vasquez rock. So I really kind of want to let them, as sort of a kind of final note for the show, let the landscape kind of speak for itself and have the astronaut play kind of just a really small role.
I like that. Like, what, for those who aren't familiar with Scott's work, tell us more about just really fast, like as we're in the beginning. Tell us about the astronaut character, like why you have the astronaut character.
Sure. So I've been painting the astronaut now. I'm going to date myself. I've been painting the astronaut for over 20 years now, which is a little wild. And I first started painting the astronaut in, I just returned from living abroad for a little while. I studied in Italy in college for a bit, and I lived in Australia for a little while. And I returned home, and I still felt and at home for me at the time was Boston, but I still felt very out of sorts, like you do when you travel around in a different culture. And I wanted to make paintings that kind of captured that idea of exploring this sort of world and landscape that I didn't feel I felt a little alien in. Mm-hmm. And I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time right around then, the Kubrick film. Yeah. And it hit me right in that moment that I wanted to have this protagonist that would wander around these. I thought of them a little bit as short stories, and I wanted a protagonist who would appear in each one of them. And right when I watched 2001 for the first time, it occurred to me that this figure I kind of wanted was this astronaut from the fictional 2001. Huh. This kind of future that we thought we'd grow up into. Like, I don't know, I'm a little older than you, but I don't know, you probably grew up with a lot of the same stuff I did. And I thought that by this point, I'd be living on the moon, I'd have a robot best friend, and a jetpack, and a flying car. And in the meantime, 20 years ago, I was living in this really crappy apartment, and, well, it wasn't crappy, it was a really tiny apartment, and I had a kind of entry-level job, and I was doing all these mundane things that didn't feel futuristic in the least bit. So this figure, the astronaut, really kind of resonated with me as this kind of idea of the future that we didn't quite get. Yeah, I could very much agree with that. I'd say that we kind of got a hoverboard. Back to the Future only did like so much. Yeah. We kind of got that. Well, we got Biff as president, so that's happening. We definitely got the bad parts of Back to the Future too. So hooray on that for us, I guess. Ooh, okay. Allison just wants to know, what are you drinking? Oh, I got I thought those. It's basically Kool-Aid. It's flavored water. It's not that exciting. What the fuck answer is that? You gotta tell me what it is. The iced tea, flavored water. That could be so many fucking things. It's one of those like Joanne and I call it squirty drink. It's like one of those Mio squirty things. Oh, okay, yeah. Flavor in your water. I get you. Yeah, it's like grown up Kool-Aid. Hey, you know what? Since they're on, hey, we have a robot at Walmart. Okay, let's. Sorry, we're getting some funny chatter right now in the chat right now. Hold on, you know what? I'm gonna grab a beer. I want to keep talking to you. You got me all thirsty. Where'd you go? You just left. I'm running in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. I can't see the kitchen. Are you in there? I'm in there. I'm running back. Hold on. I'm coming back. Also, a couple of people were talking about robots, and I had to bring my robot on here. We're talking about the future. Oh, sorry. Cool. Oh, yeah, you gotta have, if we're talking about future things. Oh, well, see, now do I have a robot in here? We used to have a robot in the studio. I don't know where it went.
So yeah, but your robot's not like Pinstripe though. Come on.
Well, no, my robot's not that cool by any. Wow, that is pinstripe? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got him custom Pinstripe by Sunny Boy. He does amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like even like I added a little teardrop at the top. Yes, R2. And then he also has a bunch of things on the sides here, and like he even comes with a robot butthole, down here. But but yeah, so yeah. Sorry, we're talking about future, and I had to, me, I have to bring up Star Wars on every opportunity I have. I was gonna say, yeah. So let's go more into that, into the topic of the show now. Where is it? Oh, not that piece. Your This Is America piece right here. We're looking at your Statue of Liberty, This Is America piece now.
Mm.
So tell me more about that one. Now, that one in particular, the one with the border wall on it, I'm assuming is a border wall between us and the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it was meant to, well, yeah, it's probably a border wall or some sort of wall intended to keep you out. Yeah. So, when I originally started working on this series, I started painting it last October, in 2019, and I was looking forward. Well, looking forward sounds optimistic. I was looking ahead to 2020 as a major election year, and thinking about kind of all the things we've been through over the last 4 years, and how hopefully, optimistically, that was sort of coming to a close, maybe. But even if it wasn't, sort of reflecting on everything that sort of happened and everything that's taken place in America over the last few years. And I kind of wanted the show to encapsulate a lot of those ideas. Building a wall. What does America mean right now when sort of a lot of the ideas that we think of as quintessentially American have been sort of tossed out the window over the last few years? And so I mentioned earlier I was thinking about landscape a lot, but I was also thinking about kind of the big sort of, things like the Statue of Liberty and the St. Louis Arch and the Lincoln Memorial and these sort of, Mount Rushmore, obviously, these sort of monuments we've built to these ideals of America, and how we've kind of in a lot of ways failed those ideals, or maybe we never even had them in the first place. They were just sort of these ideas that didn't really happen. And so I wanted to make paintings about them that were kind of serious and kind of heavy, but also in some ways kind of lighthearted too. And so for that statue, and also I should say that the title for the show, This Is America, came from the Childish Gambino song, but more specifically the music video. Which
Amazing.
I think is one of the kind of great pieces of art that's happened over the last few years.
Oh, completely. It was amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't want to, it wasn't my interpretation of his video so much as my idea of what I think America is right now. I kind of wanted to take that idea and run with it.
Oh, someone just said, sorry to interrupt, have you seen the video of the lightning hitting the Statue of Liberty?
I saw that yesterday. How wild is that?
Oh my gosh, that was let's just say that God is telling us things if you believe in it.
There's so many things we've seen, I feel like, over the last, especially the last few months, that it feel almost like too on the nose, where you're like, come on now, really? Did that but then it actually really happened. You're like, God damn it.
Oh, dude. Oh, you know what? Allison just said that, that was nice. ThinkSpace, she was able to check out your show. So you did get someone on there.
Oh, cool.
You got someone on the chat to check it out.
I don't want anybody to feel sort of like there's any sort of like special club you had to be in, but I do know that some of the artists who were there to drop off work.
Oh yeah.
Did get like a little bit of a sneak preview.
Sorry to pause you.
Again, I hope people don't feel like, I know there's a lot of people who would have liked to have seen the show in person who didn't get to, so I don't want them to feel bad. There was no sort of gatekeeping happening, but it does make me feel nice that at least a few people got to see it in person. I wish more people did.
Side note, if you're not aware, ThinkSpace had a big group show the following month that had a lot of art, so that's what he's referring to, where a lot of artists were dropping off their art, so they got to, some of them got to actually see the art, and,
Yeah, maybe it's a good time to plug, we're working on
yeah, whatever plug you got, please do.
We're going to be working on a catalog for the show that will hopefully be coming out in the next month or two.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which I'm really excited about, because I try to come up with fun themes for my shows, and a lot of my shows kind of are standalone, like they are. sort of discrete chapters in this work, but this one I think even more than most kind of stands on its own. And so I'm excited to do a catalog for it. So, and especially because so few people got to see it in person, I think having a nice sort of affordable booklet that people can buy that kind of wraps it all up will be a nice thing to have.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and like that's good to know too, because I'm assuming the amazing photos I took for you, are probably going to be in there. So I made sure to do extra.
Yeah.
I made sure to do extra well. Well, I do well on everyone, but you know, like I said, I just did extra well because I was extra stressed out because you're my friend. So we're looking at the Hollywood one right now. I like that one. That one always yeah, that one's an awesome one.
That one's fun. You know, people ask me sometimes, you know, where do my ideas come from, and it's this really sort of, it's a smattering. You know, anybody who does any sort of creative work will have a similar story. Sometimes I'm just literally wandering around on the street and ideas hit me. It's rare that something happens in real life because my work tends to be a little bit surreal. Sometimes something happens in real life and I'll take one little element of it. That Hollywood one was literally, I was going to go look at some gallery off of Melrose or something. I was heading off the highway, and I pulled off the exit on the 101. Sorry, this is very LA speak. I was pulling off the exit on the 101, and I'm still new to LA, so like every time I turn a corner and the Hollywood sign is just there, it still feels really like strange and surreal to me. And so I pulled off the highway, and all of a sudden, like the Hollywood sign is just there, and then these two like super sad balloons just float on by. And I was like, I was driving, so I couldn't write it down, but I made a mental note. I was like, I need to make a painting about that moment. And so that painting is sort of my interpretation thereof.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, it's so funny, like, you know, Darcy, my girlfriend, you know, for those of you who don't know, like, her and I always, like, love driving around old Hollywood things. So to be like, I don't care if it's touristy as shit here. Like, I've been born and raised here my whole life and still here, and I still can't get over that I see the giant Hollywood sign. Like you said, that like that still is like special to you. So it's like it's cool to hear like it's still special to some people who come out from here. So. Oh, they're saying you got LA speak. You're totally LA now.
I started dropping highway numbers, or sorry, I call it highway, freeway.
Highway? What the hell? There's no highways here.
I'm betraying that I'm not actually from here. I say freeway, but once I start talking about the exits off the 101, I start sounding like I've been here at least a little while.
Or once you used to go the 5, the 10,
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, because they used to, do you know how that happened? It's because it used to be called the Santa Monica Freeway, the Sacramento Freeway, the you know, like the Pasadena Freeway. So now when it switched over to numbers, everyone still adds the part to it. So
interesting. Good to know. Yeah, I feel like I finally, even though the last 4 months don't count, I feel like I finally am settling in. I stumbled onto this Twitter conversation where people are talking about their least favorite exits on the freeways here. I know what mine is immediately. So that
Robinson off the 10.
That's a good one. So mine's more local. It's one that people don't usually take. It's the Academy Road exit on the 110, which is nobody would take because unless you were trying to take a shortcut to Dodger Stadium, but I live near there. It's one of those. A lot of those exits off the.
Oh yes, yeah.
You all of a sudden the 5 comes in. Sorry, this is LA. The 5 comes in, so all of a sudden there's 2 extra lanes. You need to somehow navigate across those 2 lanes very quickly. All of a sudden, the super secret lane pops up to the right of that and comes to a full stop, hard right turn into a one-way residential street, like within 30 feet. And I have to take that back home sometimes. It's both my favorite and my least favorite. It feels like I'm doing some stunt driving.
It really does, especially like when you're I think the 210 and the 5 little mix up right there. Mm-hmm. I think, or the 2 and the 5. We are very talking LA right now. Like that was one of the first freeways like ever. So that's why it just goes residential. Like you're just going 60 miles an hour, then residential.
Yeah.
Or you're like you just get off of residential. I gotta floor it. You know, you just gotta like. I am not making fun of Scott.
Just let me think you're making.
Yeah.
You can make fun of me. I'm still new to town.
Oh gosh. Okay, hey, so I'm looking now on the awesome Mount Rushmore that you got with the shanty town that's below it. Mm-hmm. Let's go on about that one. I love the David Bowie and the big hole coming out of the side, and the Planet of the Apes. Like I just love all the Planet of the Apes references too in there because Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes was also filmed at Vasquez Rocks. I think I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think you're. Yeah, I think you might be right. Part of it was probably.
Everything was in the 70s. So.
Yeah. So that was we talked about the last piece I think I did for the show. That was the very first one, the Mount Rushmore painting, and I kind of had an idea what I wanted the show to be. And when you start working on a new show, sometimes it takes a while to kind of figure out what the show's really about. Sometimes you're lucky you kind of have like a really great idea ahead of time. You kind of know at least what the first handful of paintings are.
Uh-huh.
But usually you kind of have like a vague idea, and then it sort of forms a little bit more as the show goes along. So that was the very first piece I did for the show, and I kind of immediately knew that I was like, okay, this is the thesis statement right here. Like, this is the piece that's going to be the sort of like foundation for what the entire show is going to be about. It felt very sort of, it referenced, sci-fi movies and that we kind of all kind of know, but I did it in a kind of knowing way that, because I feel we've all been, like we've been living in this dystopia become real lately. And that's kind of the idea I wanted to capture, this idea that the American dystopia that we're all living through is sort of a real place. And I had a lot of fun with all the different things happening in the Mount Rushmore heads. Like you said, I did a David Bowie bolt on one of them.
Also,
a giant hole out of Thomas Jefferson's head. There's what's his name? Dr. Zaius, is that who the guy from Planet of the Apes is? He's just wholesale replaced Teddy Roosevelt. He's up there. And there's a lot of detail. I knew that I had a little bit of extra time on these paintings versus my normal. I usually work pretty quick, and I knew I wanted to go for a level of detail that I don't usually hit. And so that painting in particular has just a ton of detail in it.
Dude, yeah, like just like the rocks and like just like like the shanty town. Oh,
yeah.
Someone wants to know if is that where Santa Claus lived? So let's see. Also, we got Mount Rushmore feels even more impactful after the 4th.
Yeah, well, that was just. I mean, again, people have been. It's weird. I've been making paintings that have been kind of coming true lately, which is a little bit disturbing. And so after all the ridiculousness that happened on July 4th, I was like, well, I've got a painting for that. It's great for me. I can be like, oh, I got a painting for this. I got a painting for this. But then stupid shit just keeps happening. And
yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel great about it, but it's weird that I've got a painting ready to go. One more quick point I wanted to make on that painting.
Yeah.
A lot of the graffiti tags in it are references to people or animals in my life. My dog Brody pops up in there.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a little graffiti tag. I also included.
Oh, there's Brody.
Yeah.
I'm circling. I see it at the bottom there.
All my nieces and nephews are in there too.
Oh, what? Nova? Is that one?
Yeah. So I painted that one in October, and what happened is I had one nephew, my nephew Calvin, who's like about 5. He just turned 5.
I see Cal. Yeah.
And then my brother and his wife Rebecca Jeff and Rebecca. They had twins in October. So all of a sudden I went from having one nephew to a nephew and 2 nieces, and then my wife's brother also had a baby in August. So all of a sudden I went from one nephew to one nephew and 3 nieces. So I had this like huge extended family. So I kind of wanted to, I don't know, throw them up there in some way.
That's so fun. Yeah, I see. Is Annabelle? Yeah, I see Annabelle too.
Yep.
So.
Annabelle's one. Ada, Nova, and Calvin are the others.
Yeah, I see those. No, that's so fun. That's cute.
Mm.
Oh, you said there was other ones in the show that had Brody's name. Which one in the show also had Brody's name?
Yeah, so Grand Canyon has Brody in there.
Ooh.
And actually the Statue of Liberty has Brody too.
Oh, the Statue of Liberty. Oh, I remember you showed me that. All right, let's go over there, guys. All right, we're going to click on the floor. I'm going to skip over there one more piece. There we go. Oh, use this arrow to get to the next piece. Where are you, Brody? Oh, there you are, Brody. Ha!
Mm-hmm.
We're looking on that one right now. That's so funny. Yeah, man. Okay, and then you said the Grand Canyon one, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yep.
I'm jumping over there. I'm jumping around the gallery right now. Can I go closer? I think I can go closer. Oh, okay, we can go closer. All right, where are you, Brody? Oh, there you are at the bottom of the tag. I mean, where it says "Don't fall in." That's so funny. There's the Brody tag for those of you guys. I'm circling it. That's so fun. Okay, so let's go over this Grand Canyon piece. You've done a Grand Canyon before, right?
Yeah, so I titled this one Grand Canyon 2 because I did a Grand Canyon painting like 15 years ago. Like, it was a really long time ago. And it was a pain in the ass, and so I haven't revisited the idea since. But I knew early on that I wanted to do a Grand Canyon piece for this show. Because it's hard to, it's hard to think of a more sort of quintessentially American vista than that.
Yeah.
And I also knew it was going to be the biggest piece in the show. So it's one of the biggest pieces in the show. It's 30 by 40 inches, which for me is pretty big.
It's massive. It's hard to tell in this photo, but this piece is actually really freaking huge.
It looked big in my studio. It looked kind of small in the gallery, which was a bit disappointing. But that's the way it always works out. But yeah, it was pretty big, and I had to do the whole thing with like a tiny brush, which was a giant pain in the ass.
Dude, it's everyone loves to know these types of questions. How long did it take you?
It took about a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Get the fuck out! Are you serious?
Yeah.
I was expecting like a month or something. That is so insanely detailed.
I work really fast, but that's a really long time for me. Usually paintings will take me a small painting I can do in a day or two, and a medium-sized one 2 to 3 days. I rarely work for more than like a week on a painting.
Really?
So the fact that one took about 2 weeks was a while. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's nuts. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm just like really enjoying the detail of that one. It's just, yeah, like a lot of people too are even saying too, like, your backgrounds are amazing too on that. Your details just fucking nuts on that. Like, then like as a photographer too, I've told you this before too. It's like in photography they always say like the best formula is foreground, middle ground, background to add depth to everything. And I feel that you adding your clouds kind of like, honestly, anytime I shoot a time lapse, unless it has clouds, I feel like I'm like, what the fuck am I shooting this for? Like the clouds add so much depth to it. And so like when I saw your clouds, it was just like already your paintings are beautiful. But when, I don't know, for some reason, just clouds for me as I said, a photographer, and then seeing your little foreground that you add, you just add such a level of depth that I think is just really nice to see. Like really makes it feel like a window, and just really makes you feel like you're on that adventure with that astronaut. And it kind of makes you feel like you're sitting there. You're not just like looking at a painting of a guy just like standing in the middle of the field just up as an astronaut. Now I actually feel like I'm with this guy's journey, and I'm like, I don't know where the hell we're at, but it's just crazy and shit. But I kind of like, I don't know, just like love that attention to detail, that you put the tiniest speck of dirt and the tiniest tag on the sign before us, and then also you're like putting the beautiful purples and like that cloud really far away.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, I've obviously painted clouds a lot, but one thing I usually do to save some time, which I learned actually on a ThinkSpace show I did a few years ago, that I was on a massive time crunch. If you want to save a lot of time, do a vertical painting that's like 2/3 sky. Because all you do is you mix up like 3 or 4 blues, and you just blend, and it takes you like half an hour, and you've got like 2/3 of the painting done. But like I said, I knew I had some extra time on this show, and so I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some like really epic clouds, which I knew was going to take me like way longer than just painting the sky.
Yeah.
But I wanted that sort of feel, these like heavy clouds, in some paintings they feel a little ominous, and in others they feel kind of sort of warm and welcoming. But I love the sort of feeling of these clouds like hanging there, and almost all these paintings in the show have these like crazy cloud formations.
No, yeah, I'm looking at the that beautiful one that was in the back of the gallery with the mountains and the snow. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that one too is just gorgeous. Where is that one supposed to be?
The sort of vertical.
It's like the horizontal, really long one.
Yeah, that was my Rocky Mountains piece. I kind of wanted to do like a Purple Mountains Majesty painting for this one, and I kind of wanted to capture the Rocky Mountains, and so that's. But it's not anywhere like that specific. It just sort of feels like, the sort of it can be almost anywhere mountainscape.
Yeah. Well, I'm like I said, born and raised in LA, so I barely know what the fuck mountains are outside of whatever's surrounded around this area. So, let's see, what's another cool one I want to talk to you about? Yeah, I love the desolate Santa Monica Pier entrance, like this, like the one that's kind of like the salt flats, kind of.
Yeah, I wanted to do at least 1 or 2 that were nods to local LA.
Good call.
Yeah, it's just a good call in general. I always like to have a nod to whatever. When I do a show in a city, I like to have a nod to the local area. And my last show at Think Space was a couple years ago. Like the entire show was based in Los Angeles, so I knew I didn't have to hit it. I didn't want to hit it that hard, but I wanted to have a couple that hit some LA landmarks. Um, and that one was a fun one. That one actually was. I mean, I like the paint, but that one was a bit of a time saver. It was almost all white, and I kind of knew I could do that one kind of quickly. Um, but I liked the look of it. I liked how empty it kind of felt. And it was an easy idea for me, like this idea of like a very famous pier that everyone kind of knows.
Yeah.
It just is like, what would that look like in 1,000 years or 100,000 years if things don't go well for us?
Well,
So.
quit fucking predicting shit with your paintings, because this shit might happen quicker. Like, so.
No, maybe 2 years. Maybe I was being a little.
Luckily, we got out of that horrible drought that we were in for a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Gosh. Let's see here. You know what one I want to bring up? The other one was the other one from Close Encounters. The one with with the lights,
Yeah, that's the.
I'm blanking on what they're
Devil's
called.
Tower.
Devil's Tower. Yeah, I knew that was from Close Encounters. I was like looking at that. I was like telling Darcy, I was like, holy shit! I'm like, I think that's the one from that. Actually, hold on. I have the most whiny puppy right now. I like you know how it is. Like, hold on. But actually, as I'm walking away, I can still hear you. So please tell me about that one. Why? Obviously, everyone else in the movie painted that tower. So I want to know: did you hear the message that painted the tower?
I did not. But yeah, no, I knew that one was on my list early too, just because it's such a great American landmark. Which people know from the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's actually just a really cool monument in and of itself. It looks really. I'm calling it a monument. It's a mountain, but
hey, it's part of a movie. It's a monument.
It is. It's such a unique looking thing. Excuse me. That I knew I wanted to paint, and I wanted to have something a little bit otherworldly happening. That wasn't like a direct reference to Close Encounters, but that you could kind of pick it up.
Yeah. As nerds, we got it, you know. We could get that shit. I was like, that is Close Encounters. I know that mountain. I know that mountain. Another one I really loved too was the Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
That Trans Am.
I actually did two paintings. I did a painting called Smokey.
Or this one's called the Bandit. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which has Smokey the Bear in it. And then I kind of wanted to do a painting that also was called The Bandit, which had the Trans Am in it with an actual grizzly bear. Just as like a little fun nod to another movie reference, another kind of like Americana reference. Yeah, I don't know.
That was a good one. No, I liked it. Well, and the whole California fire behind it. It's very California with the Trans Am, the bear, the astronaut. I honestly feel like I could see all of that in one strip of like Hollywood Boulevard at some point. Like,
we could.
Gosh. You know what else was I gonna ask you about? Side note. I was saying I had a whiny puppy. If it wasn't for Scott, I actually owe you a lot, Scott, for you basically helped my dog live longer by that little secret tip you gave me a couple of years ago. Was it a couple of years ago? I don't know. Oh, I guess right when you moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott told me, because our dog, we have old puppies. I have a 16, 17-year-old Yorkie, and he has like a 15, 16-year-old poodle. Is that what?
She'll probably be about 14 in the fall.
Brody, who we've been talking about, that's who it is. Spanky is mine, so she had an issue that apparently Spanky also had, and thank God for Scott, and now I owe you a lot for that, Scott, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, they both have sort of recurring coughs that are not necessarily life-threatening, but can become real problematic, especially because they'll be coughing all night long, and they're not sleeping, and you're not sleeping, and it's that's a problem. And I was lucky enough to find a vet that found a pretty aggressive treatment that actually worked, which was shocking.
No, yeah, man, it was and luckily my vet was just like, oh, yeah, you're completely right. We should do that. I was like, oh, cool. That was so awesome. Luckily, I'm good friends with my vet, too, who's also Anthony Ausking's wife, which is really awesome. Let's see. We got in the chatter right here. Okay, there's a lot of people saying how takes a lot to breathe in all the show. Everyone's really enjoying everyone is enjoying your show. That's the overall. The overall
Cool.
the overall thing is everyone likes your show. You did a good job.
Well, thanks.
Good job.
And honestly, kudos to you, Birdman, because I think so many more people got to see the show. I think because of the documentation you did, and because of this walkthrough we're going through, I think people were really excited. Especially because so many people didn't get to see it in person, but also people who don't live in LA who would never really get to see the show got much more of a feel for what the show really was like.
Oh, that's cool.
By doing this walkthrough.
Oh, that's cool. No, thanks, man. I seriously just work, make all the videos, and then I don't hear, since we don't go to shows anymore, we don't talk to each other, so it's kind of like, all right, cool, just put it out into the universe. So I appreciate you telling me that, man. Like it's a lot of editing for those tours.
Yeah, well, I bet. But no, I got a ton of awesome feedback about it. People really liked it.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, and yours is actually. I even told Andrew, I was like, after this, I'm like, if you want this, it's got to be more. Yours is the only one of the tours that I've made out of like the 12 tours I've done that if you hit the play button on the top, it'll automatically go from piece to piece. So if I hit, but I would let it continue if it didn't slow down our chat because my computer is running like crazy streaming this, going through a virtual tour, also having to like handle the audio and lots of things happening. My computer hates me all the time. I'm pretty sure I could cook a pizza on the back of it right now. Like if I throw, I could throw After Effects right now, and the whole thing will explode. So
maybe don't do that.
No. But yeah. So how's everything with you and Joanna? How's she doing?
She's good. I don't want to speak too much for her, but for people who don't know, my wife is a nurse. And a couple months before all this started, she took a job as the head of nursing at an assisted living facility near Pasadena, and so they're kind of like really on the front lines of this, which is just insanely stressful. So she's been working really long hours. It's a really tough job. They've been doing an awesome job. Knock on wood. They've been keeping their old dudes healthy.
Yeah.
But it's just it's an awful lot.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for her. I'm proud of her. But I don't see her a whole lot. She's been working long hours. So tough job.
Yeah, everyone's people are saying please give her our good thoughts and hellos. So
I will definitely do that. Yeah, she appreciates that. I don't know. I try not to complain too much about my life because what she's going through is really hard. But
I know.
Shout out to healthcare professionals, all the people working on the front lines of this, people working at grocery stores, delivery people, doctors, nurses, anybody who's got to go out in this garbage and work every day. Kudos to you to making the world run right now.
Yes. Thank you, man. That's poor thing. Yeah, yeah. You're just stuck with Brody, just all coughing and barking at you. Just not.
Yeah. We call Brody my studio assistant. She's not really very helpful, but she's cute and she's nice to have.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Spanky's just smelly. That's my only thing. I can't, it was so funny. Earlier today, right before I shot this, I got hit up last minute to do the KP Projects to do their virtual tour. And I was like, shit, I could totally fit that in between editing and then doing this. Okay, I could do that. And I get home. He just ran in his shit everywhere, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Of course, right when I have to do a bunch of things and then the audio wasn't working before, you guys didn't have to figure that out, but it was a funny shitstorm, literally, but it was just
it's the pleasures of old dogs, when they get to that age, it's just I love you very much, but what are you going to do to me today?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly just it's then you see him sleeping, and you're like, oh, look how cute.
I know, they're really cute. They're really cute. They have their moments. I was, yesterday, I got nothing done in the morning, and I was like, okay, I ate lunch, I was like, gotta get down to the studio. I was like, right now, I'm gonna start being productive. And literally I turned around that second, and my dog, stepped in her food bowl, and spilled flew all of her food all over the living room. I was like, I guess I'm gonna spend the next 10 minutes picking kibble up by hand out of the carpet. I guess is what's gonna happen. So she's very cute though. I love her very much.
Yeah, Spanky does that to he does that to his water bowl all the damn time. He's
God, yeah.
Just jumps right in and he'll just get soaked. His whole chest is soaked when he's done. I'm like, he'll drink at the other end of it. I'm like, what the fuck? Little old dogs, they got their ways. You can't change them. Gosh, man, that's so freaking funny, man. Well, okay, well that's cool. I guess we're like finishing at the top of the hour, so it's a good time to call it in here. But yeah, man, like this. Is there anything else you want to talk about from the show? Like, I think we covered like the title of it and the meanings of things and like.
Yeah, I think we covered most of it. I mean, just if anybody's interested, keep an eye out for the catalog, which will hopefully be coming out soon. I think we're going to be doing a couple more prints from the show at some point in the near future too.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I didn't know you guys were doing more prints. Yeah, you did. How did that? You guys did the other one with the Planet of the Apes one, right?
Yep, we did Mount Rushmore and we did the Hollywood sign.
Oh, what? That's cool. That's awesome. How those ones do?
They did great. Yeah, the Hollywood sign sold out pretty quick. The Mount Rushmore one, it was funny. It had like one left for like a month. I don't know whether there still might be one left. I don't even know. In my phone here. Yeah. So last I checked, there was still like one left, which is fine. Like, honestly, it's fine. If people like them, they're selling fine. I don't need them to sell out instantaneously. It's great. The response to the show has been amazing. I'm really happy with it. So.
Well, those of you who want that print, go grab that print.
Yeah, if you want one, I think there might be one left. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, someone's asking. Oh, you know what? You did actually mention this right before you go. Tell me about. You got anything coming up?
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah, I'm actually busy working now on my next show, which will be with Spoke Art. They're based out of San Francisco, but they also have a location in New York, and so my show will be in New York.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is exciting. It'll be my first big solo show in New York, which will obviously be more exciting if I could go, which will probably not be the case. It'll be in September. But for anybody in New York, well, I don't know if you'll be able to go either, but keep your eyes open. I'm excited for the show, but it's also been, it's been tough to work on. I think anybody else will feel the same way. It's been tough to stay motivated through all this. It's hard to get the creative juices flowing when like the world feels like it's ending all the time, and you can't really leave your house. So this one's been more of a struggle than most of my shows, but I'm happy with how it's shaping up. But we'll see. I'm kind of limping across the finish line on that one. But
do you have any you can show us?
I wish I could. I'm trying to keep them under wraps right now.
Ooh, okay. I do.
Yeah, so secret for now.
I do like that about you. How we don't really like. It's a good mix between like I like how there's like some artists who like really show their process and that's part of their feed. And I like how yours is just like it's done.
Yeah, I actually love seeing other artists when they post their in progress stuff. I think it's really cool. I try to, I don't know, for whatever reason I try to. Partially, I don't get as good a response when I show the works in progress. I like just showing the finished one, and people seem to appreciate that. And it fits in better with. I like to tell stories with my work, and the finished product kind of tells those stories. But I also kind of like to leave it a bit surprising. So when I have a show, it feels like more of an event when I'm like, here's the new image for the show. And they're like, ooh, exciting. Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, or did you tell us the theme of this one, or?
I can tell you the theme. I can tell you, yeah. I think. Don't hold me to it, but I think the name's going to be Quarantine. Is the name of the show, which seems about right. Because I was really struggling. What I forgot to mention, we were talking about my show at ThinkSpace, This Is America. I did about 2/3 of it before the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
And so it immediately changed to how I felt about the whole show, kind of obviously. And the show kind of felt like it was about that moment in time, even though most of the work I did ahead of that time. This is the first show I've done where I was really in it right from the start. And I was really struggling with how do I want to talk about all this? Like, what do I want to say? I had half a mind to be a little bit more lighthearted with it, just because I had so many people being like, if you're going to predict the future, could you predict a future that's a little bit more fun? Could you pick like some like unicorns or rainbows? And I was like, oh, maybe. So I kind of wanted to be a little bit more light about it.
Okay.
But it's hard to do that when you're sort of in the middle of it, especially like obviously everything took a real dark turn about a month ago. So I've been struggling with how I kind of wanted to talk about this time. So most of the scenes take place in either New York or sort of an empty city that could be anywhere. This sort of city that's kind of emptied out. And the way I kind of handled it is a lot of them the city is actually like within the frame of the painting, like tilted or up, even outright upside down.
Oh.
The astronaut is always kind of like right there, right side up. But these cities like are literally tilting on their axes
Ooh.
in this way that feels very like uncertain, unclear, and in some of them like shit is literally like falling sideways through the paintings.
Oh, what? That's cool.
And there's little like bits and pieces of like of pop culture that we've all kind of lived through over the last few months that kind of you know, like I was trying to take some things that were kind of jokey, like people were like, you should paint toilet paper or you should paint like Lysol, and I was like, okay, maybe I will. Like
oh my god, I'm so excited for this now.
Yeah, I think maybe like not great ideas, but then I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna do that.
That's so
awesome.
awesome.
A little bit funnier and a little bit weirder. And there's also like bits of movie references to like zombie movies.
As always, like, that you always do. I love your references.
Yeah, and like movies that, you know, things that took place in what feels like we're living through a movie now. You know, movies like Contagion, and like Hot Zone. All these movies that like it feels like we're living through them right now. So there's bits and pieces of that kind of seep in, which both feel kind of funny, but also feel kind of like, yeah, that's what we're living in right now. So,
that is freaking awesome, man. Gosh. Well, we're also getting some congrats also in the chat right now, so everyone's congrats on that, getting into New York for that show.
Thanks.
That is so freaking cool. I'm so happy for you. Everything's going so well. If you didn't know, the show at ThinkSpace, every single piece was bought. He sold it out. Scott is a sellout, so
I'm a sellout now. It's really fun. I feel it feels like a weird thing to celebrate for a number of reasons, though.
You can't go anywhere.
Like,
did you go to like Uber Eats, like a fancy Uber Eats like that night, or?
Not even that fancy. We like ordered tacos from like our local taco place. I think it was like.
But side note, any taco from LA is fucking amazing, so that is an amazing treat. So.
That is actually true. That is actually very true. Yeah. No, it feels weird to be like proud of it because it feels like the show kind of happened but didn't happen. It also feels weird to kind of like I don't want to make a big deal about it because. Like, you know, so many people are going through a really hard time economically right now that I don't want to be like, I sold out, everybody, I'm rich, you know, which I'm not. But like, it feels like a weird thing to celebrate. But
I totally get you. Yeah, I have a lot of, like I said, even if I didn't fucking figure out how to do 360 cams, I was literally trying to think of other jobs to go into. I was like, I can't go into photography. I can't do this anymore. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to survive? So it's just like, I get what you mean. And then like you kind of feel guilty when things are going better because you could tell a lot of people are doing bad and you want to help them, but we can't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it sucks to watch everybody. You know, it's like everyone go through their own thing like that. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. I know there's a lot of artists who are having really hard times. Well, a lot of everybody's having a hard time, but especially people who are conventions. So anybody whose career was, you know, a large part like dealing with, you know, conventions and stuff like that. Like my heart goes out for people like that because that business model is just kind of evaporated immediately. But I've been very heartened that I think in general people are buying art. I've heard this from a number of people. I think people are buying art more now than they were before, which is really awesome to hear.
Yeah.
It's not just me. And I think part of that is, you know, we're all trapped at home. And if your home has boring walls, like, I mean, art has never been more important than it is right now because you're literally, it's all what you have to look at. But I know this is not true of everybody, and so I don't want to make a blanket statement, but I'm really happy that
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Like, so.
But a lot of artists have seen a bump in their sales recently, which is encouraging. I hope it continues.
Me too. I hope other friends, even if I just hope all of our friends are getting something out of this. It's just, yeah, kind of like, you know, I think the, what is it, what's that meme page? The Jerry Gagosian page, where he just showed that one of like, the world's on fire and everyone's like, I don't want to buy a painting.
Yeah. I know all my art friends have been posting that lately, which I get. Which is kind of, well, there was, you know, a period of a couple of weeks after George Floyd where I was just like, I have a show up right now, and it feels like such a shitty thing to do, to be like, hey, I have a show, look at my paint. Like, I was just like, I can't do that right now.
Dude,
it just seemed like a horrible moment to be trying to push your own paintings.
I wasn't even pushing any things I was shooting, and I barely posted our video, like, not too long ago. Like, actually, I think I just posted it, because it was just, I felt our feed had to be filled up with more important things, and I was like, I'm going to let this fill up for a bit and get back when I feel, but I comfortably, I feel more comfortable posting again now, at least. But
yeah, I think I mean, we're artists. This is how we make our living. We have to post our stuff. I think it was good to, for people like me who live in my own world, it was good to be self-reflexive for a bit and be like, can I do more with my voice than what I've been doing? I think that's an important question to ask, and something that I shouldn't just be asking in the wake of a tragedy. Something I should be trying to do more continually, and I'm hoping that I'll hold myself to that standard. I'm hoping other people will also do that.
Oh, likewise, yeah. But gosh, man, okay, we're hitting the top of the hour, so I think we're gonna wrap this up officially now, because I think the 10 minutes we were like wrapping it up, but so let's cut it now. But I just want to say thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate you being my first guest on this type of going through the virtual tour and taking the time of your day working on your new show to do this, man. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for giving us all the insight of your show, and just thank you for being you, man. You are awesome.
Oh. Well, thanks. This was a ton of fun. It was more like just sort of a conversation with a friend about art, which I appreciated.
Oh yeah, that's why I was just like, you know what? When I started thinking of doing these shows, I was like, I'm just gonna help my friends so we could just bullshit and maybe make some new friends if I wasn't a friend with someone. But I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I'm hopefully gonna try doing this every Friday, so we'll see. But yeah. But thank you again. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. In about 30 minutes, I'll be playing video games. If you guys want to keep watching and come back to the thing, hey, I got to do that, man. Half the Twitch is playing video games. So if you guys want to see me whoop some ass at Mortal Kombat, or zombies, or Wild West, who knows? Come and find out at 7:30. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Scott. Make sure you follow Scott at Scott Listfield, and you can look at his name above his head there, and above my name. You'll see that's our Instagram handles above us. And is your Twitter the same thing?
Yep. I'm at Scott Listfield everywhere.
Okay, cool. And if anyone wants to buy your art, what's your website?
AstronautDinosaur.com.
That is amazing. AstronautDinosaur.com is Scott's website. That was not expecting that. That's fucking amazing. I love you so much more for that. Mine's just like Birdman photos. It's boring as shit.
I was, one positive of coming of age in the early internet period is I got to book my website early.
Oh, okay. Hey, just to let you know before we go, we got Allison, hello, and Krista, Drake Art all said they love you, and it was a great show and very insightful. So thank you all for watching, and thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
awesome.
Yeah. Well, it was good talking to you. Give Brody a little belly rub, and tell the missus I say hello, and also a hug for her as well. Maybe not a belly rub though, but gosh. All right, man. Well, take care, and thank you all for watching tonight. I really appreciate you all for tuning in. So, yeah, thank you guys.